Yes, I see.
Good news, everybody! Microsoft has purchased Bethesda. That kind of came out of nowhere. Well, for me anyway, I didn't expect that, but hey, that's cool. We've got some quotes and some details. Let's get into it, and then let's talk about it in the comments, because I'm pretty excited for it. More directly, Microsoft has entered an agreement to purchase ZeniMax Media, which is, the parent company of Bethesda. Phil Spencer said on the Xbox website on a little blog post, Microsoft has entered into an agreement to acquire ZeniMax Media, parent company of Bethesda Softworks. The deal is expected to close in the second half of Microsoft's fiscal year 2021, which will be the 30th of June. The reported amount that they are purchasing it for, 7.5 billion in cash. I would love to have that much money in cash just lying around. Yeah, I'm gonna buy ZeniMax Media. Jesus, that is a lot of money. Phil had more to say on his blog post. As one of the largest, most critically acclaimed, privately held game developers and publishers in the world, Bethesda is an incredibly talented group of 2,300 people worldwide who make up some of the most accomplished creative studios in our industry. Across Bethesda Softworks, Bethesda Game Studios, id Software, ZeniMax Online Studios, Arcane, Machine Games, Tango Gameworks, Alpha Dog, and Roundhouse Studios. They are the teams responsible for franchises like The Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Wolfenstein, Doom, Dishonored, Prey, Quake, Starfield, and many more. So that is a lot of game studios that Microsoft is now gonna have at their beck and call. This does bring into question, there's two games that we know are due to come out that are actually PS5 timed exclusives. Those two games are Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo. Now, these are timed exclusives to the PlayStation 5, and they're going to release on the Windows Store. So maybe 6 months to 12 months kind of period before we see them on Xbox. Microsoft has said, or Phil Spencer has said in an interview with Bloomberg, that Microsoft will keep that commitment. You won't see them on Xbox at launch. That's not going to change. But he did also say future games like Starfield will be available for Xbox, PC, and Game Pass video game service. And then they'll take other consoles on a case-by-case basis. So that's pretty good. They're not just, whereas Sony is, oh, we're going to buy Spider-Man, we're going to keep him. They want the exclusives to keep him. Xbox doesn't really seem to be too focused on exclusives. So Todd Howard also has a little statement, which I'll just read out. Like our original partnership, this one is about more than one system or one screen. We share a deep belief in the fundamental power of games, in their ability to connect, empower, and bring joy. And a belief we should bring that to everyone, regardless of who you are, where you live, what you play on, regardless of the screen size, the controller, or your ability to even use one. There's a couple of cool things from that, as Todd said, Mr. Good Old Howard said there. They're still saying, we're not going to be locked into Microsoft. They still seem very much open-minded of, we're still going to, launch on other platforms. And going back to what Phil Spencer said, they're still going to assess it case by case. I don't think this means the new Elder Scrolls and Starfield isn't going to come to PS5 or PC. I think they will still launch on them, whether it's a delayed time exclusive on Xbox with Game Pass, or whether they just launch on the same day, that we'll see in the future what they decide to do. Todd Howard does mention specifically, regardless of the screen size or the controller or the ability to even use one, Microsoft do that adaptive controller, which is good for people who, might not be able to use their hands fully or, restricted movements. And that can obviously be linked up with other devices. You can still play games using the adaptive controller on other various things that connects with it. Maybe Bethesda might be taking that more in mind than some other publishers and might develop new ways of playing specifically to help people with the adaptive controller. I don't know, it's interesting and good to hear, publishers and other companies, thinking about right, not everybody's got two hands, not everybody's able to use their hands fully. So it's, it's good to hear that, other companies are even thinking about it. Big takeaway for me is Starfield is going to launch on Game Pass, which is going to be friggin' awesome. New Elder Scrolls on Game Pass. Love it. I was going to get Starfield anyway. Now I don't even have to pay for it. I pay for Game Pass, but it's going to come to Game Pass, which is friggin' awesome. Elder Scrolls, Doom, Dishonored, like we said, you know, all of those kind of games, I'm hoping some of them are already on Game Pass, but I'm hoping some of the other ones will roll out, like Doom Eternal, for example. I really want to play Doom Eternal. And maybe, hopefully, Microsoft might tell Bethesda and Todd Howard to use another friggin' engine for Elder Scrolls and Fallout, because my god, that engine is so old and just showing its age so bad. You know, use the id Tech engine. It looks amazing. Doom is a stunning game. It's first person. Can't we, adapt that instead of using the old one that we're using now? One thing of Starfield that I'm a bit questioning is, how is it going to run? What's it going to look like? It's going to be on the new generations, but as far as I'm aware, they're still using the current engine, which is like 1,000 years old at this point. So, move on to a new engine. Yeah, that's all I've sort of got to say for it today. What do you think, more importantly? I think it's good that Microsoft have now entered into agreement to purchase ZeniMax Media for a ridiculous amount of money. Do you think it's going to change anything? Like, do you really think we're going to start seeing restrictions and limited launches on Xbox exclusively? Or do you still think it's going to launch on all platforms? Will it launch at the same time? Is it going to be timed exclusives? I don't know. What do you think? I'm just looking forward to the back catalogue of games that will now come to Game Pass, hopefully pretty soon. And speaking of Game Pass, very quick comment on it before we go. The app has been updated so that you can now, as well as doing the xCloud, which is where you stream your games from the Xbox servers, Microsoft servers, you can now turn your Xbox into its own little server. So if you're in the house, close to your Xbox, you can stream your game to your phone directly from your Xbox, which is pretty cool. When I used to stream, I didn't have a capture card. I streamed my Xbox to my PC and then streamed that online. So it's pretty cool that you can now use your Xbox as its own little server. Back to Microsoft buying Bethesda, ZeniMax Studios. What do you think? Let me know down below and let's just carry on having the conversation. See you later, guys.